make sure that we're getting your name absolutely right.
Untitled Gurría.
It's been 15 years of non-stop learning for me. This sense of awe in the organization, in its people, in what they have been able to achieve, but also of what they can achieve going forward. This is probably the feeling that comes back again and again, every day.
Seit ihrer Gründung vor 60 Jahren gilt für die OECD kein geringerer Maßstab als eine bessere Politik für ein besseres Leben. Dazu drängt sie als politischer Ratgeber. Dazu dient sie als Wegbereiter für internationale Standards. Und dazu gibt sie Impulse als Wissensplattform, die Best-Practice-Vergleiche erlaubt.
Because of your thoughtful and careful research and analysis, the health, the welfare, the education, and the environment of untold millions of people is better. Now, you have achieved this through a set of values that have stood the test of time.
OECD의 활동으로 세계는 더 공정해지고 투명해졌으며 한국 역시 OECD가 추구해온 민주주의와 인권, 시장경제와 개방경제라는 보편의 가치를 실천하며 성공 사례를 만들어 왔습니다.
As I said many years ago, the OECD is not the club of the rich countries, it's the club of the good practices.
L'OCDE a su s'adapter aux nouveaux enjeux, le changement climatique, la digitalisation, la fiscalité internationale sont autant de défis qu'il faudra prendre à bras le corps.
In the beginning of my mandate, we had a big crisis, and at the end of my mandate, I am departing with the largest, most global, most terrible crisis ever. Frankly, it is something that tested the OECD. And we came up with the goods. The OECD has remained relevant, more impactful, more influential than it ever was, and that it's gone from crisis to crisis, raising its profile and becoming more useful to the countries, to the people.
I must sincerely commend the OECD for all the impressive work you have done over the last 6 decades to build better policies for better lives. We have been partners in many areas, supporting inclusive and sustainable growth and improvements in living standards.
The organization has always been a driving force behind the multilateral system that fosters global cooperation. A robust organization that helps to build and maintain a rules-based international system.
Because of the work of the last 10 years, we now have 84 million bank accounts worth 10 trillion euros that have been identified and exchanged. And there's nowhere to hide in the world because the taxman has your name and your account.
The ongoing efforts towards reaching a multilateral consensus-based solution to the tax challenges of digitalisation is an excellent example of this unique role.
The work on tax avoidance, especially the initiative on base erosion and profit shifting BEPS, in which over 135 countries are engaged, presents an enormous opportunity for strengthening tax policy and tax administration in many developing countries.
The largest enterprises in the world don't pay taxes or pay very small amount of taxes. And now we have a revolution going on, and we'll be able to tax not only the largest digital companies in the world, but also the largest companies in the world, just punto.
We need cooperation to exchange information. The OECD is a good forum for this kind of cooperation. It is quite clear to me that if the OECD did not exist today, we would have to invent it.
But to further end the inequalities that many around the world face, we must first end the pandemic. and Canada believes that the OECD can be a driving force in strengthening multilateralism, supporting a strong recovery, and building a more resilient world.
It is clear that we must make international cooperation truly effective, not only to overcome the threat to our health, but also to promote a sustainable, inclusive and resilient socio-economic recovery.
Over the past 15 years, Untitled Gurría has delivered tangible solutions for our businesses and our economies. He relentlessly defended the development of key instruments to strengthen global economic governance.
Mr. Secretary-General, your leadership has fostered global solidarity, and I'm confident that the OECD will continue to embrace multilateralism and mutual cooperation as we rise to the moment of our time.
The focus has changed from the growth to well-being. The focus has changed from productivity to the people. The men, the women, the children have to be at the center.
At a time when the world faces the devastating COVID-19 pandemic, the climate crisis and other severe challenges, the collective action enshrined in the OECD Convention is needed more than ever.
I believe that the pandemic is the most urgent enemy we have to fight. But I believe our single most important intergenerational responsibility is to preserve and protect the planet. Today, a growth that is not resilient, a growth that is not inclusive, and a growth that is not sustainable, meaning green, is not going to last for too long and is not going to be accepted by not only the powers that be, but by society.
L'OCDE s'est adaptée pour relever les défis de son temps. Sous votre conduite, Monsieur le Secrétaire général, elle a pris à bras-le-corps les nouveaux enjeux liés à la digitalisation de l'économie, l'enseignement, l'emploi, la lutte contre les inégalités.
In order to raise competitiveness and resilience of our societies, the transition to using modern technologies and digital solutions is crucial. We are convinced that this unused potential deserves serious attention also in the OECD fora.
And now we have 100 countries that are doing the new PISA cycle. And we've added digital competence. We've added how much of a citizen of the world are you? How well prepared are you to face the future?
C'est en vertu de cet engagement pour un multilatérisme fort au service du bien commun que je veux saluer très chaleureusement l'action de l'OCDE, son engagement aussi pour des valeurs qui sont aussi les nôtres, l'inclusion, l'égalité, notamment l'égalité des genres, la dignité humaine.
The OECD is multilateralism in motion. The OECD perhaps illustrates, personifies, better than any other international organization, what multilateralism is about.
If we want to master the transformative possibilities of the pandemic, which are many, and mitigate its socio-economic costs, which are many too, we will need all our best minds working on these issues. And this is where I see the OECD continuing to provide services and to lead. As we chart our way out of this pandemic, the world will need your insight more than ever. And I'm fully confident that, as always, you will rise to the challenge.
The role of the OECD must continue to evolve to face these new challenges and deepen its role as the multilateral forum where new consensus are formulated and built. I am certain that the organization and all of you will be up to the task.
Pour être au rendez-vous des grands défis contemporains, les États doivent mieux coordonner leur action. L'OCDE devra continuer d'être une force motrice du multilatéralisme. Les normes souples montrent la voie en incitant plutôt qu'en imposant, et elles nous seront utiles dans le monde de demain.
What I hope is that this process continues to reproduce itself, that it's in fact encouraged and that it's enhanced, because that will enhance the relevance of the OECD in the future.